Hello and welcome to our program. You're watching One TV News Bulletin in English at 5. I'm Yanni Moutsios. Here are today's top stories. No monkeypox infection was detected on a British tourist in Greece suspected to have been patient zero of monkeypox in the country. The sample tested positive in 2 consecutive tests for chickenpox. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky calls for maximum sanctions on Russia during a virtual speech on the first day of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Parents of toddlers and teens may, as of today, access their children's health and vaccination records online. Ukrainian court in Kiev sentenced a Russian soldier to life in prison for the killing of a Ukrainian civilian in the first verdict in a trial related to war crimes carried out by the Russian army. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called for a maximum sanctions on Russia during a virtual speech on the first day of the World Economic Forum gathering of corporate executives, government officials and other elites on the first day of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Zelensky said sanctions needed to go further to stop Russian aggression, including an oil embargo, blocking all of its banks and cutting off trade with Russia completely. He said that it would be a precedent that would work for decades to come. This is what sanctions should be. They should be maximum so that Russia and every other potential aggressor that wants to wage a brutal war against its neighbor would clearly know the immediate consequences of their actions, Zelensky said through a translator. He also pushed for the complete withdrawal of foreign companies from Russia to prevent supporting its war and said Ukraine needed funding at least $5 billion per month. The amount of work is enormous. We have more than $500 billion in losses. Tens of thousands of facilities were destroyed. We need to rebuild entire cities and the industries, Zelensky said, days after the group of 7 leading economies agreed to provide $19.8 billion in U.S. economy aid. The U.S. has also approved another $40 billion in aid to the government in Kiev. Now, coming up next, no monkeypox infection was detected on a British tourist in Greece suspected to have been patient zero of monkeypox in the country. The sample tested positive in 2 consecutive tests for chickenpox. A court in Kiev has sentenced a Russian soldier to life in prison for the killing of a Ukrainian civilian in the first verdict in trial related to war crimes carried out by the Russian army during its invasion of Ukraine. Vadim Sisimarin, a 21-year-old sergeant, was found guilty of killing 62-year-old Alexander Salipov in Sumy region during the first days of the invasion. The verdict was delivered on Monday by the judge Serhiy Ahafanov at a packed courtroom with dozens of Ukrainian and foreign television cameras crammed into the small room. The judge said although Sisimarin cooperated with the investigation and expressed remorse, the court could not accept his claim he had not meant to kill Salipov when he fired at him. Sisimarin, wearing a grey and blue hoodie, listened with his head bowed to the judge deliver his long verdict from inside the glass box for defendants. He was given a translation of the judge's words from Ukrainian to Russian by a court-appointed translator. This is the first time in a number of war crimes cases that Ukraine prosecutors want to try as quickly as possible. Ukraine's Prosecutor General Irina Venediktova has said she's preparing more than 40 cases related to war crimes that could come to trial soon, and Ukrainian authorities say they have registered more than 10,000 war crimes across the country. Now, no monkeypox infection was detected on a British tourist in Greece suspected to have been patient zero of monkeypox in the country. The sample tested positive in 2 consecutive tests for chickenpox. A British tourist aged 29 was airlifted along with his spouse to the Athens Attikon Hospital from the island of Kefalonia, and he was treated in a negative pressure isolation room. The rare infection has been spreading throughout Europe and the Americas since it was first diagnosed in the UK in May. The infection is most commonly found in quite remote areas of Central and West Africa. The first case of the recent bout of monkeypox was identified in the UK on May 7th in a patient who had recently traveled to Nigeria. It is highly likely that he contracted monkeypox there before returning to the UK, according to the UK Health Security Agency. Although the infection has recently spread to numerous countries, it is not very contagious and there is very little risk of widespread infection. The virus is typically transmitted through close contact with an infected person, including through sexual contact, and can enter the body through the eyes, mouth, and open wounds. Additionally, the disease can also be transmitted through contact with infected animals. The smallpox vaccine is being administered to those at risk of becoming infected with the virus in the UK. Although they are not the same infection, smallpox and monkeypox are similar enough that the smallpox vaccine is 85% effective in preventing against infection of the virus. More to come. A search and rescue operation is underway in the sea region between the islands of Chios and Samos, involving 5 sailing boats that had set sail from the opposite Turkish coast, carrying roughly 450 people that attempted to illegally enter Greece, bound for a Greek island. Just 2 weeks after his official visit to Washington, D.C., where he met with the United States President Joe Biden, Prime Minister Mitsotakis will visit the United States once again to address the 146th Boston College graduation ceremony on Monday. Prime Minister will then travel to Switzerland to attend the Davos World Economic Forum on Tuesday, May 24, and Wednesday, May 25th. Coming up next, parents of toddlers and teens may, as of today, access their children's health and vaccination records online, according to a press release from the Ministry of Digital Transformation and the Ministry of Health. A search and rescue operation is underway in the sea region between the islands of Chios and Samos, involving 5 sailing boats that had just set sail from the opposite Turkish coast, carrying roughly 450 people that attempted to illegally enter Greece, bound for a Greek island. The Greek Coast Guard did not allow the entrance of the sailing boats, while the Turkish Coast Guard was informed. 2 of the 5 sailing boats returned to the Turkish coast, while the other 3 are expecting the Turkish Coast Guard vessels to accompany them back to Turkey. Parents of toddlers and teens may, as of today, access their children's health and vaccination records online, according to a press release from the Ministry of Digital Transformation and the Ministry of Health. Parents will be able to organize more effectively their kids' health care. Health records currently in hard print will be digitized, and parents will be able to access it via the personal electronic health record. This will be available under a subcategory on the ehealth.gov.gr website. The health record will hold all the health data of each kid, sorted by age, whereas parents will be able to review any vaccinations that have already been completed or the ones planned ahead by the doctors. That's all from us for now. Stay with us. Next news bulletin in Greek at 6 o'clock. Thank you for watching.